The digital media literacy that we talk about involves a variety of skills that we know how to teach kids, but most kids don't learn when they log on the platforms or learn in school. Things about how to make sure that the content you're looking at is maybe not as representative and accurate as you think it is, or understanding how people learn how to spread mis and disinformation and not to fall prey to their traps. To limit the extent to which we see just a few likes and we assume that it represents more people than it really does, to understand when we might be experiencing symptoms of withdrawal or dependence on social media, and to learn how to use social media to build really positive relationships. To help people know when they're going to get dragged or kind of discussed in negative ways in social media and how to resolve those conflicts appropriately. To refrain from constantly comparing ourselves to others online and forgetting that we're probably looking at doctored images or images that represent their best selves, not their everyday selves. To recognize when people communicate cyber hate online and to know how to stop that and defend each other when that happens. And when we use the online resources to check in about our own mental health, to know how to find good information that it's going to give us accurate ways to help ourselves. We also have to remind kids that social media was not developed as a free way to interact with peers just because people were being nice. It's being done because folks are making a profit and using that data in order to generate other kinds of information about users. And a lot of teens may sometimes forget that, just like adults do, and try to make sure that they're using social media in ways that helps them rather than in ways that is just helping the companies to make their profit.
I've looked at metaverse, extended reality. In terms of child rights and risks and opportunities, I think it's an exciting space. The opportunities that we always lead with are certainly around how children can interact in new ways with other people. They can be creative in the world-building spaces like Minecraft, like Roblox. They can develop identity, which is an important part of being a young person, and multiple identities, and play around with that. You can learn in new ways. There are many opportunities. There are also risks. I think the main one right now is around safety, around online harassment that happens in virtual spaces that don't have to be immersive. They could just be spaces like Minecraft. You don't necessarily need a virtual reality headset. I think the main skill is really digital citizenship. Obviously, that includes digital literacy, but being respectful of other people, being empathetic, being responsible for your own actions, and being well equipped to be able to respond to other people's actions or inactions, their risky or harmful behavior. Yeah, digital citizenship, and I think the other one is really just critical thinking.
Now, generative AI, including artificial intelligence in general, is not new. What dramatically changed a year ago is the fact that everyone can suddenly use these technologies without even being an AI expert. So AI has been democratized, if you will, which is a really positive thing, because before that, only large companies were able to benefit from it. However, once again, these technologies were made available to the public without any rules or guidance, and I'm not even sure if we understood all the consequences of making it publicly available. This suddenly also requires the next generations and also those who raise them to have a whole new set of skills that have been less necessary before. So we should definitely better understand the consequences of generative AI from a child rights perspective. And a good start would already be to understand the risks and opportunities that are associated to these technologies. And then, closely linked to that, we should also discuss the skills that children and their educators and parents need to tackle these challenges.
In collaboration with the Center for Safe Internet and I1 Croatia, I was part of campaign Bolji Online. If I translate you, it would be something like how to be better person in online world. That campaign promotes safety in internet world and also responsibility of each individual in online world. Also, I finished the School of Responsible Influencing, which was really great thing for me and for my work, because I learned how to behave in online world. I think it is my duty, because of my followers and people who are watching podcasts and also content which I'm creating. I would like to recommend school to everybody, to parents, to young people, to influencers, but also to people who are consuming social media.
In Europe, women make up only 18% of computer science graduates, and they hold only 22% of all tech roles in European companies. This is a significant loss of talent, diversity, and economic opportunity, not just to the tech sector, but beyond. Girls and young women are often unaware that computer science can be a valuable skill. Secondly, the learning environment. Girls and young women's interest in computer science is significantly influenced by the learner-educator relationship. Since computer science is a relatively new discipline, especially when you compare it to areas like math, it means that students are more reliant on their educators to help them understand what it is. So for instance, 37% of girls said that more engaging teachers would boost their confidence in their ability to learn computer science or informatics. And then lastly, computer science capital. Bottom-up support systems are not strong enough. For instance, parents, they struggle to understand the discipline, and girls often lack the empowerment from their peers. We know that parents and guardians in particular can have a huge impact on their children's academic confidence. From our research, 59% of girls listen to their parents for recommendations on what to study, yet many parents lacked understanding of what computer science is, and they struggle to support their children in the learning of the discipline.